America must return to its classical liberal roots. We had hoped the scenes in downtown Portland, Oregon, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and other cities were not emblematic of the state of the nation in general. Local officials have let the disturbances get out of hand, and now right-wing groups increasingly are confronting the bands of left-wing protesters who have turned some downtown areas into virtual war zones. Social media has only magnified these deep and occasionally violent divisions. Sadly, Americans seem genuinely more divided than ever. The general election, which is 2 months away, only stoked partisan feelings, but a new survey from the respected Pew Research organization suggests that the problem goes much deeper than usual election year conflicts. The survey found that the intense partisan division is worse now than any time in the past 28 years of polling. Our study of polarization in 2014 found that a major element of partisan polarization has been the growing contempt of many Republican and Democrats have for the opposing party. According to Pew, their 2016 survey showed growing contempt for each other, and the latest one found that around half of Americans are afraid of the other party. Those numbers soar higher among those who are highly engaged in politics. There is no simple fix for these levels of distrust, but David D'Amato with the Free Market American Institute for Economic Research touched on the root of the problem in a recent column referencing Pew Research. Both parties increasingly have embraced big government solutions, which ultimately pit different political tribes against one another as they tussle over the levers of power. A lot is at stake if the other side gains power. D'Amato calls for the restoration of classical liberal ideas that transformed the world and yet were never given their due. The founders embedded those ideas in a Declaration of Independence and Constitution. They center on the brief and limited government. That is crucial given that there is less reason to be fearful of the other parties and viewpoints of the people who are elected to office are hamstrung by limits on what they can do with their power. The founders designed a system that allows individuals the utmost latitude of living their own lives, owning property, speaking out, and worshiping without interference from the government. To secure such freedoms, one rarely found in human history, they created a Bill of Rights that details what the government cannot do. They created a system of checks and balances between states and the Fed and among the three branches of government. One modern conservative activist, Grover Norquist, has long touted a Leave Us Alone coalition. The idea is that Americans with vastly different cultural mores, religions, views from different religions, and economic circumstances can still get along. They needn't agree with or even like each other, as long as they acquiesce to the idea that government should allow all of us to live our lives in peace. Gripped by reductionist groupthink, a toxin generated by the United States, our crude culture war politics left and right, are regressing, and in fact, towards their most cruelly authoritarian incarnations, D'Amato added. That's the problem. As Americans fight a grudge match rather than embrace the ideas of founding, which promises an approach that would offer something that is becoming more elusive: domestic tranquility. Americans of all partisan affiliations would Americans of all partisan affiliations would be well served by a return to our nation's classical liberal roots.